What's up,
Benjamin Graham
everyone?
died in the 1970s.
Listening to Rules of the Game.
Every few years back in the 50s and 60s, imagine what he would think about today's market that has changed so much since then. Just drives home the point that having a dogmatic adherence to a single investing strategy that you never change can be so dangerous and difficult. Number 13, there are few universally right answers in finance. There are just lots of shades of gray that happen to work for people's unique personality and their certain situations. So many finance arguments happen when people get upset after realizing that not everybody has or wants the same life as you. One thing I've often thought about is the single most important decision that most people will ever make in their life is whether, when, and who to marry. It's the most important decision that you will ever make for most people.
Yeah.
But that topic of how to find a spouse, when to marry, who you should marry, is never taught in schools.
That's a good point.
It never will be taught in schools because it can't be taught in schools. It's not something that you can just distill down to a formula. So the idea that some of the most important decisions in your life
10, I
just
think?
are things that cannot be taught, cannot be formed, or are not formulaic, I think it's the same in money. And why is, by and large, is financial education not taught in high schools or colleges? I think there's a lot of answers to that. This is not black and white. But one of them, I think at least, is that it is very difficult to teach money because everybody has different views and goals and time horizons and family dynamics. It's very difficult to teach something where people who are equally smart, equally educated, equally informed can come to a vastly different answer in terms of what they want in life. Number 14, pessimism always sounds smarter than optimism because optimism sounds like a sales pitch. Pessimism sounds like somebody trying to help you. It pays to be a long-term optimist. We talked about that earlier. But my God, is pessimism more common and more able to catch your attention? There is a historian named Deirdre McCloskey who has this quote that I love. She says, "For reasons I have never understood, people love to hear that the world is going to hell." And if you are familiar with financial news and financial commentary, you see that everywhere. Pessimism gets people's attention, even if the optimism is what actually pays off in the long run.
Yep,
Number 15,
that's a fact.
most of what people call conviction is just a willful disregard for new information that might make you change your mind. That is when beliefs turn dangerous, is when you say, I have so much conviction about this stock, I have so much conviction about this strategy, about this company, whatever it might be. So often what that is, the reason you have so much conviction is because you have a brick wall that is not letting in the counter examples and the counter information that might make you change your mind, because that idea, changing your mind, is too uncomfortable.
Anakin, what's good? I guess you're still logging into your brother's account.
You're all in on this career, even if there is an odd. There are odds that it might not.
I'm listening to oh yeah? How'd you do, man? What'd you do? What is that? What did you get? Did you do a good job? Very cool. Listening to this guy talk about rules of the money game. So, is it good? I have no idea what means what's good or not. Are you happy with your score? My dude's studying. I guess you've been studying a lot. So what does that mean, getting that score? Does that mean you get to go to like a really, really solid next step? Let me know.
Charlie Munger says you can only have an opinion when you can state the other side's position as well.
Congratulations, man. All that hard work.
Conviction in what you're doing, you better be able to state
celebrate
the side's view as well as. Number 16, your willingness to believe in predictions.
This guy
influenced by how much you want or need that prediction to.
Wait, so does that mean you're going to college or you're going to high school? Yo, Rohan, what's good? Rohan, you would appreciate. So this past year, gotta like. All right, hard work pays off. Let's go. So, Rohan, you would appreciate this. I'm listening to Rules of the Money Game, which is this guy called the guy that wrote the book, The Psychology of Money. And yes, I do think hard work always pays off no matter what. You know, I'm lucky that I have pretty good work ethic for the most part when I'm not depressed. But my work ethic has led me to have a pretty awesome life so far. So, Yesterday I was working till pretty late. I didn't get back until like 12:30. So I was driving this lady all the way to Long Island, but I made like $200 yesterday from driving around doing this as a side hustle. So that was cool.
And it asks,
how you doing, Rohan? How's everything?
Over 100 years old. What the happiest day of your life was?
Ooh.
You lived for over 100 years. What was the best
happiest day of
and
your life? What's the happiest day of your life, guys?
And she said the
happiest day it's decent money, right? Not bad. One day. I mean, that's like one coaching call for me usually, but it's still not bad. It's still not bad.
The happiest day of your life. And the old woman said, quote,
usually I charge at least $250 an hour for my coaching. With my clients to try to help them break into to help them get promoted.
75 million people. There are so many things in life that we think are true because we desperately want
What's up,
them to
yo,
be true.
Rohan?
People do this with their relationships.
Yo,
careers,
we're gonna keep asking. Were you able to sleep? Were you able to sleep last night? Oh, you like it? Yeah, it's not bad, right?
Everyone is a dreamer because.
Let me guess, you're gonna ask me to give it to you.
The future will be difficult. So there's an appealing fiction in life,
it's cool.
Believing in the outcome that you want, even if it's unlikely to come true.
He's talking about optimism in finances.
The higher the stakes, the truer this becomes.
Rohan, would both of you guys?
For centuries, we did bloodletting and starvation therapy.
Would you guys say that you're both pretty optimistic people? Let me know. I would say I'm pretty optimistic, but he's saying sometimes it's good to have a mixture of optimism and pessimism. Hey, there you go. My dude came back with his account. Nice. I was just messing with you. You could definitely log in. What's the difference like between the two accounts? I'm curious.
And a good one isn't known or it's not readily available to you. The path of least resistance.
Man, there was always in the morning. There's always a lot of traffic.
Not just try anything, but believe anything.
But
the same
that
thing happens
was
in
good.
investing when people are so
gotta do some meditations later.
Forecasters whose track record is abysmal.
Abysmal.
Predicted recession or
damn, I gotta find my mic. I don't know where I put my mic. Hopefully it's okay.
You pay attention to them. If you tell people what they want to hear, you can be.
I just got done going to this place called Stretch Zone, which is like. It's kind of like physical therapy where they work on your mobility, your flexibility. And then now I'm driving back home and I have a couple meetings. I have a bunch of meetings today. Oh, you'll see, I'm going to live stream later at 1 o'clock. So what is that? That's in 4 hours from now. One of the influencers, his name is Marcus Chan. I don't know if you guys saw his videos, but he's like, yep, exactly. He's like this very successful, I guess you can call him like a millionaire. Bro, you trying to get me arrested, bro? Oh my God. It's this place called Stretch Lab where they basically use like the tenets of physiology and physical therapy, where they have something called like the 3-5-7. So they, depending on where you're most tight at, they like kind of stretch your legs or your arms or like, you know, different places. But it's in Princeton. Yo, Anik is trying to get me in trouble, bro. What about you guys? Do you guys is physical therapy like a big thing in India? I'm curious. I don't know too much about India in terms of like the medical profession, but I would say in the US it's like a very common career path to become a physical therapist. I mean, I was thinking about doing that once too at one point, but I heard you don't make as much money, so that's why I didn't get into it.
Everybody loves their tribe because there's comfort in knowing other people who understand your background and share your goals. The tribes have their own rules.
Not a big deal.
Beliefs and ideas.
No, not a big deal for rich people. There's people.
Some of them are even
there's no problem with that thing here.
Oh,
that's funny. I guess physical therapy isn't a big thing. Oh, because you guys have yoga, maybe. Because a lot of people do yoga, right?
Either working not along with bad ideas, or they become blinded by tribal loyalty. This happens so often in money and economic views and political views. You see it all over the place.
That's funny.
Number 18.
Yeah.
Most financial.
Oh, everyone does yoga? Is that really big? I think yoga is starting to be, is more big with women here. Not as many guys do yoga.
Is not bad decisions.
Usually.
It tends to be good decisions that you try to make happen.
Whoa, that's so cool. We don't have that, unfortunately.
Great.
They should, though.
The stock market and demanding that you double your money over the next 2 weeks is not. It's very easy to conflate those two.
What do you guys think about the stock market versus entrepreneurship versus savings? What do you guys think is the best market? I'm sure Rohan has ideas on this.
5, 10, 20 years that is truly needed to put the odds of success in your favor. It is so
driving back feels a lot faster.
That kind of time period. So you have people who seem like they're making good decisions. They're just not giving it enough time to pay off. One thing to think about here is that there are 3 edges in finance. You can be smarter than other people, you could be luckier than other people, or you can be more patient than other people.
Oh, that's
Only
a good one.
The patient part, of course, is the one that most people
I would say I
can
could be
have a
luckier
fighting
than
chance
other
of making
people.
work over time.
Long term, I guess.
Number 20. The goal of investing is not to
Stock market
minimize
is
boredom,
one
it is to
big thing. No one can
maximize
compete with
returns.
it.
So much of what happens in the financial media is
true.
designed for entertainment. It's designed just to get your attention.
So what are your thoughts on this, Rohan? So there's a book called Millionaire Fastlane, who's an American entrepreneur, and he says that actually, he says the entrepreneurship is the only way you can make like FU money. Because of his argument, he calls it the slow lane. So he said, he's like most Americans, he says does the slow lane, which is like you invest like, you know, let's say 15% of your money into the retirement, which grows like steadily, right? There's like the Vanguard S&P 500 where you could do that. And then he said that will make you, you know, maybe by the time you're like about to retire, $3-4 million, right? And like you can live a comfortable life. But he said entrepreneurship is the only thing that you can make FU money. Because he said when you get a 10% or 12, you know, let's say it's like an 8% return on the stock market, he says that the entrepreneurship, yes, like you might fail and you might be broke for a while, but he said it's the only time that you can get like 5,000% return, right? Because he said you might fail, but he's like, whether it's company 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, he said eventually, you know, he's exited like $50-40 million markets. The stock market will also be run by a very big company. That's true. But he said that in the stock market, well, he said, all right, obviously, unless you're like an executive at like a really big company, which, you know, that's very competitive. There's only so little of those spots. But he said, but you can start any company, even like anyone could start a company. So you don't even have to be talented. Oh man, I don't know what's wrong, but I've been sleeping a lot lately. I don't know if that means I'm sick or something, but he said you could be a normal person and start a company, whereas he said it's, you know, like let's say a big corporation has 20,000 employees, like there's only a handful of like top C-suite executives, right? So he's making the argument that he said that obviously, yeah, if you can get one of those roles, like, yeah, get it, because like obviously you're going to be pretty rich doing that. But he said, but anyone and their mom could start a company. So obviously this guy, his name is RJ DeMarco, obviously a very opinionated dude. But that book actually was what inspired me to be an entrepreneur, because I was like, huh. And now I'm seeing that it's a lot harder than it looks. But I was like, if this guy could do it. So what happened was he was a limo driver, and he would drive like super rich people around. He always asked like, hey, what do you do? And they always said they were entrepreneurs. And he was like, it just seemed like the people that had like FU money were all entrepreneurs. So I thought that was interesting. RJ DeMarco, check it out. It's called Millionaire Fastlane. Super interesting stuff.
It's no different than sports. We're just trying to entertain you, but so many people don't really realize that. And they spend so much time, they're so turned off by a simple investing strategy that might work because it seems too boring to them. I think part of the reason this is that money is one of the only fields where simplicity tends to equal better results. If you want to be a great athlete, you should work out, train, 100 hours a week. If you want to be the best golfer in the world, you should go to a driving range and hit balls for 6 hours straight. Most fields, if you want to get better, you put in more effort. Finance, particularly money
is what inspires me.
Tends not to be
that's true.
opposite.
It inspires a lot of people,
and take a more simplistic approach tend to do better over time.
What about you, Aniket? Are you really into money as well?
Can't do that because it feels like a waste of their intelligence and a waste of their resources. There tends to be a sweet spot in money, I've noticed, where you grasp the important stuff.
Have you heard of this book before, Psychology of Money? It's a pretty popular book in the US.
Number 21. Your personal experiences make up maybe 0.0001% of what has happened in the world.
Oh, someone's calling.
But maybe 80% of how you think the world works.
Weird. Fort Lauderdale.
Everybody is a prisoner to their own experiences of what they have happened to experience in life, primarily based off of the dumb luck of where and when you were born. And since nothing is more influential to people than what they have experienced firsthand, and all of us have experienced something vastly different in life, all of us who are equally smart as one another, and we have the same information than one another, think about the world and the economy and investing and spending.
I guess I should post about Mother's Day later with my...
Where and when
it is not so. There are some people
outcome in life than anything you do intentionally.
It is
this
not
especially
so.
True for looking at investing.
There are some people.
I joked one time that the most important investing skill is being born during an.
I was just telling the person at the stretch zone earlier about you and the conversation with that lady that you pretty much almost made her cry. So that was really sweet, Rohan. You're a good dude.
They ever did was saving money and investing money from 1980.
How's the market doing today in India?
And of course, that was
Let me teach me something new.
It was just the dumb luck of when they were born. So just the acknowledgement that there are so many big things, and our view of the world can be so far out of our control.
So he makes up a good point. Oh, it's also famous here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good book actually. It talks less about how to make money and more about the psychology of money. So like the little unconscious thing, like reasons why money runs the show. Yeah, it's I got it as a gift from my financial advisor. So he's talking about how there's a lot of, like, what we don't think about is how lucky we are, like, in terms of being born into money, or there's a lot of things that are luck based when it comes to money.
Really important part of this. Number 22. All investing ability is unproven until it has survived a disaster. It's so important to be careful when identifying skill. When you're trying to identify skill, whether it is yours.
This guy's good, man. I like him a lot.
You're only viewing it during the last market cycle.
And he's like normal too, which I like.
People like Warren Buffett and George Soros and those people. It's not even the magnitude of their investing skills. It's the fact that they have earned money and outperformed the market during so many different market cycles. Both of those people have done it for 50 or more years.
Oh, cool.
When during high inflation, during low inflation, during economic booms, during economic busts, they've made money in bonds, they've made money in stocks. That is the only time that you can really separate luck from skill, is when you see somebody succeeding in multiple different environments. And during every market cycle, every investing cycle, there are so many people who can succeed in that specific market cycle. But as soon as
So it sounds like he's saying that, like, be careful of people, like, listening to people money-wise that haven't gone through a lot of different cycles of the money market. He's saying that if there's people that have had proven success over multiple cycles, he's like, those people are more reliable. I'm just heading back home. I'm like 6 minutes from home. So nothing crazy.
Number 23. Past success.
But I have a lot of meetings today, so I'm excited about that.
Because you now know how the story ends.
And I still need to shower and get ready.
What you know today when trying to remember how you felt about the past. What I mean by this is, it is much easier to quote Warren Buffett.
No, car is definitely not an asset. 100% a liability. The worst liability ever. The moment you drive off the lot, the car loses like all of its value pretty much. But it's fun. It's like driving is fun. It's more like I guess you can call it like a hobby. But yeah, definitely not an asset. I think a house is not even an asset. I think, in my opinion, a house is a liability as well, because the taxes that we pay on houses is so ridiculous. So much money to spend on a house. But it makes my wife happy, so, you know, sometimes you do things that make your spouse happy. Yeah. The only asset that I think I have is like I'm building my brand pretty strong, so I think eventually once I continue to work on my YouTube channel, it's gonna grow. And then once my, you know, so I think overall I'm building assets, like a lot of different businesses that I can sell. Well, I'll get to sell my businesses one day. That's the goal. Hopefully those become assets once I build it and have systems around it and hire people to help me.
In isolation. If I said, how would you feel the stock?
I have 3 different businesses. I have a corporate consulting business, so teaching chief revenue officers like how to train their employees, their salespeople, to be able to sell more intelligent, just to be able to have more self-awareness. So sales training around emotional intelligence, how to network, how to build deeper relationships. I have online courses that I sell to tech salespeople that want to get into like Microsoft and LinkedIn and Salesforce and so I'm building. And then I have, he said what? Okay, really? And then I have the IT consulting business that helps law firms and accounting firms with their business intelligence, with data analytics, so that they make smarter decisions on, and then some of it is outsourcing to India. So a lot of the folks in India will do like the accounting work, the paralegal work for these firms, or if they are looking for like data scientists and stuff like that for tech companies. So those are my 3 businesses right now. Rohan's like, I heard this spiel before.
Market fell 40%. Most people would say, oh, that would be an opportunity. That would be an opportunity for me to invest more. The reason they say that is because when you imagine stocks falling 40%, you imagine the market becoming 40% cheaper, but nothing about the world being different other than that. But that's not actually why
I think
the market
you
might
make
fall 40%. It might fall 40%
money quite a lot.
There's a terrorist attack you didn't see coming.
He's a business coach to me.
That might kill you and your family, or a major recession,
Kidnapper. Oh my god. Every week there's a new thing added onto. Eventually I'm gonna have like 50 things that I do.
The same thing happens when we're trying to imagine how a game might feel.
I make decent money. I think long term I'll be a millionaire, but I'm definitely not a millionaire yet. But I'm building the skills to get better at money. So
that success can't bring pride or contentment or independence or whatever it might be.
I think compared to the average person, I make money, I guess, because let's say the average person in America makes like, I don't even know, like 40,000. It's hard because sometimes they measure by household income. But let's say the average person in America makes like 46,000. Yeah, like I would say I definitely make well above the average person's income. But I would say like every year is different, right? Some years I make good money, and then some years not. Well, I would say like for the most part, most years I make good money. Euro and dollar is very expensive. That's true. The dollar is pretty strong. Like when I went to London, I mean basically anywhere. When I go anywhere, the dollar is like really strong. Like and that is true. That is very true. In America, I mean, I would say even compared to the average American, like I make decent money. But a lot of people in New York City make a lot of money. So if I was looking at like New Yorkers, yes, I still above average, but there's some people in New York that make a lot of money, you know, but then they also work like 80 hours a week. I work like 40 hours. Well, nowadays I'm working like 60 hours a week. You're a rich brother. Yo, what's good, bro? I live in New Jersey. My house is like about an hour from New York City. Billions talk. Let's go. All right, guys. Unfortunately, this has been fun, but I'm about to go. I just drove into my driveway, so about to be home real soon. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully, I'll do some videos later today as I'm gonna be building out more of my courses and stuff like that. So, wish me good luck. Oh, what's that guy doing? Huh? He has a guitar. ITFs? Nah, dude, what is that? Oh, my neighbor is about to head out, it seems like. Cheers, guys.